the go live button. Hi, folks. New year and hopefully a better year. So we're here back for the Massachusetts Pirate Party Pirate News. Thank you for watching.
And definitely like, subscribe, and share. Yes, new year, and already it has hit the fan. I got Captain Jamie here with me, the one and only Maltz, and Steve, and of course I am Joseph, your quartermaster of Massachusetts, and so much more, and whatever you need me to be. So, gentlemen, how are you guys doing?
Well, to be honest, I feel like it's December 41st, 2020. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, really, it's 2021.
I said December 41st, damn it.
So, I mean, we had some pandemonium going on in the Capitol. And so you guys, let's just open this all up to general discussion and really just see where you can just jump in at any point. I mean, what are your thoughts and feelings on what happened?
I'd like to start by saying to anyone in the audience who might have doubted us, we told you so, motherfuckers. Like, this shouldn't have been a surprise. They have been planning this in the open 4 months, and the fact that there was no police response was intentional. Like, the Trump hollowed out the leadership at the Department of the Defense and then the Pentagon deliberately to facilitate what happened on the 6th. And like, what we got on the 6th was a shadow of an echo of what they had hoped to achieve. Like, they built platforms to hang people on, and they were going to hang those people. Like, they were going to execute the vice president on television, on a live stream. And the only reason they didn't is because they don't have the logistical experience that the left wing has when it comes to organizing large protests. That's it. That's the one thing that saved us.
I mean, if it was a Black Lives Matter protest, we saw early in 2020 the reaction where they tear gassed and flew helicopters low and used rubber bullets and flashbangs.
Bullets.
Yeah, I mean, to just clear people so Trump could do his photo op. We've seen it throughout the country. When the police want to beat you, they're really quite effective at it. And the only reason was, Pence was ostensibly threatened, and so they had FBI teams and other SWAT teams come over and provide additional defense. But
can I hop on that SWAT team for a bit?
Yeah.
The SWAT team was sent in solely to assist the EMTs extracting. Oh my God, her name is not Lorena Bobbitt. That's a different lady. Who was the woman that was shot?
Actually 4 people.
Oh, Ashley Babbitt, I think.
Yeah, Ashley Babbitt. The SWAT team was there specifically to back up the EMTs extracting the body, and then they left.
Ah.
Yeah.
I actually saw a video that the cops let the protesters in.
Yeah, there is at least one video of cops pulling back one of the outer barriers. And it certainly doesn't look good. Whether they did it to be like, oh, well, we'll kind of diffuse them and let them, I don't know. Other ones are doing selfies with them inside the building. Like, yeah, that's someone who really didn't want to do that job, I guess.
Well, actually, that's
they're not going to do anymore.
That's one of the aspects of this that I find really fascinating, was how much of how big a corpus of high quality OS intelligence that the rioters left, from their live streams to the pictures, Don't forget they were all staying at, or it seems like a number of them were staying at local hotels. So you have surveillance footage from the hotels. I'm sure there are surveillance cameras within the Capitol itself.
The one dude with horns without a shirt.
The QAnon shaman.
Buffalo boy, as we call him in my family.
Yeah, but I mean, there is these folks, and plus the pandemics aside, these folks were not wearing masks or really apparently not doing much to try to conceal who they were. I mean, one of the first people that was identified was a dude who wore his employee, ID badge around his neck. So if you couple that, the extensive amount of video footage around this with all of the posting on social media. And I mean, just to be clear, even if a person goes and deletes their post, a social media company that's been given a retain and preserve order can't actually delete it. It's going to be, I think this could shape up to be a really interesting post investigation, or at least there's at least the raw material needed for such an investigation to occur. I hope that it actually does.
Can I rain 2 negative points on your parade?
Oh, go for it.
So one, why did the FBI not have a stingray out? Like, again, if this was Black Lives Matter, they would have scooped up all the metadata, from all the phones in the damn zone. The only reason the open source intelligence community has to step up is because the cops chose deliberately to not do their jobs here. The other point is that, I seriously expect a mass pardon.
Yeah, my own gut feeling is that, whatever department is leading this should kind of tread lightly until January 21st, and then they should go all out. But I don't know the legal technicalities or how broad a pardon can be, because I mean, I don't think the framers, also known as the wealthy white landowners who came up with our Constitution, I would be really gobsmacked if they had intended presidential pardon power to be extended to someone who had just took part in a coup led by the president.
I don't think the norms matter anymore. I think the only metric is what you are willing to get away with, and what you can engineer your underlings to allow to happen. Because we talk about waiting until the 20th, but it's not going to be a clean break. Trump is moving to make a lot of his appointments lifetime appointments. Everything he and his followers
cabinet, sub-cabinet, he can't do that. The only thing he can do that for would be judiciary.
I didn't read the full article. I saw a headline go past, but basically everything he said about the deep state, he's trying to engineer himself. He and the Republicans want to have a core population of civil servants and public employees who do not do their jobs, and when they're forced to, do not do them well, because Republicans profit when public services fail.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be clear to people watching, in no way are we advocating all of the increased surveillance that we've seen. We oppose. I mean, this problem could have been solved just simply by having enough people that they couldn't even get into the building. And then then that would have all been stuff that was just seen. And we wouldn't need to worry about stingrays or stuff like that. I mean, and we're certainly not saying that, what we want Black Lives Matter people, supporters who are marching, not to be attacked just for advocating through their First Amendment rights that we need to change the system. It shouldn't be that African Americans are if African Americans and Black Lives Matter folks are harmed, then we need to like harm the white supremacists if they're both peaceful. That's not what we want. But we want the same set of levels. So if people are going to go and use violence, well, then the state needs to defend itself.
Well, I'd like to follow that up with 2 points. The first is, for years, the intelligence community has said that we need all of this surveillance for national defense. So I'd like to see whether they could actually take it. To a large, they've gotten a lot of what they've asked for. Let's be clear about that. And I would like to see if they will actually make an effort to use what they've got to look into an actual attempted coup. So let's see. If you wanted for national defense, I think a coup is a very legitimate national security concern.
Well,
It's
one
up
thing.
there.
One thing to say is the guy that had his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, who was just throwing papers around everywhere, they caught him within 24 hours.
Yeah, and he's facing 1 year.
But point number 2.
So that's still 1 year that he's not going to be out in the public.
I would vandalize Nancy Pelosi's office if I just had to spend 1 year in prison. Like, can I get a voucher for that shit? I am good to go, guys.
Take a turn in the drawer and close the drawer.
No turds. Classy vandalism. I will write gullible on her ceiling. Hand it back.
But so point number 2 is going back to what Jamie said. There was a security lapse here to end all security lapses, essentially. The policing around the Capitol building was completely inadequate. It was a disaster. Now, for years, folks at the DNI, the NSA, the FBI have sworn up and down that, well, we need to be able to decrypt any communication in order to, prevent national security risks and to prevent crime. Well, in this case, all they needed to do was read freaking Parler. If you can't do it when it's out in the open, and if you can't decipher the clear text that's given to you and put on the public internet, then I don't see how piling more hay on the haystack is going to help you find the needle that, frankly, is probably the size of a torpedo.
That is an excellent point, and we really got to hammer down on that, because Democrats and centrists and Republicans are going to respond to this by giving more power to the police. And that's not actually going to stop things, because the police are largely supporting fascists. Yeah.
So speaking of which, this is something I've kind of been wondering, and I'm curious if any of you three know the answer. So typically, whenever if a police officer is killed in an altercation, the police unions are outraged. And in this case, we had 2 officers killed at the Capitol. Have there been any statements from police unions condemning this, or any thoughts at all from them?
Good question.
Actually, it's still.
I don't know.
Only 1 officer.
Chicago Police Union boss says attack on U.S. Capitol, not a coup. Well, that's a surprise. Good work, Chicago.
Yeah. Well, it kind of looks like an attempted coup. And then at the end of it, he's like backpedaling, like, we all need to go home. In which case, yeah, only 1 officer died. 5 people in total died.
No, the second officer died, I think, this morning.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
I heard that was unrelated.
Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't injuries sustained during the riot.
I take that. All right.
So another police union president under fire for pushing Antifa conspiracy. Some human thumb named Michael Elkman. Good job today, Antifa. America almost believed the costumes. Ugh, I'm going to shit in that guy's shoes.
Well, even still, I was watching ABC News today, and they called some of the protesters anarchists, and I'm like,
No, fuck no.
No. Anarchists are left wing. These folks were right wing. It's not hard.
So just to be clear, both anarchists and authoritarian groups are capable of, participating in insurrections and riots. The difference, but the motivations and intentions are completely different. So where the authoritarian says, "I need to be the boss of you," the anarchist will be saying, "No one needs to be the boss of anyone else." So no, these were not fucking anarchists.
Someone build an herb garden? Like, was there a first aid tent? Was someone distributing vegan soup? Like, if no one has a table set up just covered in flyers, poorly Xerox, extremely old flyers, it's not an anarchist thing.
But I mean, an important point is just simply that this attack will get used to gin up more oppressive tools the police can use to go after anyone who opposes the government who's not a white nationalist. And we have to be vigilant about that and make sure that we can get the Congress to vote them down. But they will do it. We saw it after Oklahoma City. We saw it after 9/11. We'll see it now.
And I want to just jump back to white nationalism since you happen to mention it. I mean, this is something our country has grappled with ever since it was a country. And particularly after the Civil War, where, I honestly think that the former Confederacy got let off way too easily, particularly in the way that they were allowed to erect monuments to Confederate leaders and generals. It's like, yeah, we were insurrectionists, and we want to quote unquote honor our history. I see last Wednesday's events as an effort to continue white supremacy in the United States, and until we face that head on, I don't think we can have much of a hope of seeing things get better.
Like, I seriously don't know what else we can do except help white people confront racial trauma. Like, get us to look in our history. Oh, really, dude? Come on. Look our history in the face and reconcile the fact that a lot of us, our whiteness has been used against us to divorce us from a history of resistance against capitalist exploitation.
But I mean, in addition to that, I'll settle for something simpler. I think we really need to convey the message that white supremacy is not acceptable. It is acceptable under no circumstance whatsoever.
How can we make sure the consequences stick? Because, Steve, you brought up Reconstruction. I don't even think the 40 acres and a mule lasted 10 years before the children of slave owners were allowed to sue back to regain the property that was repatriated.
I don't think they ever implemented 40 acres and a mule.
I'm not a student of history.
Okay.
And that, gentlemen, I think that about wraps up what we're looking to speak of today. Was there anything else you'd want to throw in?
Fuck the police. Except for the one officer who lured the mob away using his own body as bait. Infinite amount of respect to that one cop in particular.
Yeah, I mean, it's telling you, here's some stories of cops, confronting other cops who are there with the protesters, flashing their badges and saying, "We're doing this for you." And it's like, you did swear an oath, right? Some of them did somewhere along the way, if they were in the military, to swear and to uphold and defend the Constitution. And somehow, attacking Congress is not upholding the Constitution. Just saying.
And with that being said, definitely like, share, and subscribe. And those who are watching, thank you so much. If there's anything that we can do for you, please leave a comment below, and we'll try and include it in our next video. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you all.
Thanks, folks. And sorry we didn't get to your comments, Samuel. We'll do it. We'll do better next time.
Right.
Bye.